Tonight's like every other night. You lay there in the dark and silence, alone, with no company other than your thoughts. You shift and roll throughout your bed, just you and your thoughts. You ponder, you plan, and you fantasize. Anything to distract from the ringing silence that surrounds you. You hear a creak, a common sound to hear on such a still night, but you still recoil when the sound hits your ears. You hear this sound almost every night, but the sheer unexpectedness sets off a trigger in your head as paranoia takes over. The thoughts that once illuminated your mind are now darkened. What was once pleasure and success has now turned to demons and killers. The silence that your mind was distracting you from has now become the focus. You lay there, silent, listening for any obscure sound, hoping that the silence doesn't leave. Every little noise adds to your paranoia, and the silence lingers as you await the next unexpected occurrence. You're too afraid to open your eyes at the thought of seeing anything your mind can conjure. You lay there, alone in fear. The fear builds in your mind as you try to find a quick escape from anything it creates. You revert to your childhood solution, hiding under the covers. You pull the blanket over your head and lay in silence. You hear noises, but they don't seem as scary. You figure if they can't see you, you're safe. The heat builds up under your blanket, but you put up with it simply for the comfort it supplies. You begin to calm down and relax and revert back to your usual logical self. It's just you and your thoughts again, alone under your blanket. You think of how silly it was to get so scared and worked up over a silly little noise. Eyes closed, you lift the blanket off your face as the built-up heat is released. You breathe a sigh of relief and roll over, only to hear a deep, grating voice whisper,
"Oh? There you are."
A 15-year-old boy in a small town in Maryland sat down on his computer after getting home from school one day. He turned it on and logged into an instant messaging program, and was then surprised to receive a message from a classmate of his who had been absent that day. It consisted of 2 words: "Please come." Confused, the boy sent a reply asking why he'd been absent that day. After 2 more messages and 15 minutes with no response, he decided to get on his bike and head over to his classmate's house. It was a short ride, only about 5 minutes away. When he got to the house, he found the door was unlocked. Inside, partially dried blood was splattered over the walls and floors, and the unrecognizable figure was crumpled against the far wall. It was missing an arm and a leg, and bloody streaks on the floor led away from the body into the kitchen. The boy slammed the door closed and immediately called 911 on his cell phone. When the police arrived, they found 3 corpses, as well as tracks leading away from the house from the back door. The forensics report concluded that the entire family, the boy's classmate and his parents, had been killed sometime the previous night.